the Daily Mail is reporting on a potential royal return for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, with the newspaper claiming that King Charles is behind this. He might be, but let me tell you, the British public certainly isn't. The report comes from the newspaper's highly regarded diary editor, Richard Eden, who writes, "Tonight, palace sources have made clear to me that Sophie, as in Sophie the Duchess of Wessex, and her husband, Prince Edward, could point the way for Harry and Meghan to return to royal duties. Courtiers are increasingly convinced that Harry wants to resume his old way of life, when he felt he was using his privileged position to make a difference for worthwhile causes. One source told him Harry's heart is not in the TV stuff. Anyone can see that. Then, a courtier, so this is actually a courtier working for the royal family right now, tells Richard Eden if the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are prepared to give up their private work and return to royal life, they would be welcome back. Certainly as long as King Charles is monarch. Eden writes, therein lies a warning to the Sussexes. Prince William is unlikely to be as forgiving as his father, and given Harry and Meghan's disgraceful attacks on the Princess of Wales in particular, I can fully understand why." Wow, let me bring in royal YouTube sensation according to Taz. So, look, firstly, William and Catherine would have something to say about this, and I imagine, Tash, so would Camilla. So would Queen Camilla, who is no fan of Harry, doesn't want her husband to be around Harry whatsoever. But we can't just immediately dismiss this, can we? Given this is a courtier speaking directly to the Daily Mail, suggesting that the king would welcome Harry and Meghan back, as long as they gave up their private work, which is something that Harry already wants to do.
There's so many things, Dan, that's speculative about that entire article. I mean, I know that they've quoted a courtier, which obviously they're not going to give away who said what. You know, you don't reveal your sources, but I find this a real tough pill to swallow on this one. To bring up the Duchess of Edinburgh as well, Sophie, to say that because of basically her and Edward, because they were previously involved with a TV production company, that all went wrong many years ago. To say that if you read into it, that because they managed to turn it around and they are now, you know, senior working royals, very well respected, that Harry and Meghan can do the same. There is a very big difference. Sophie and Edward, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, tried to make it work. It didn't work. They gave it up to dedicate their life to service and duty. Harry and Meghan decided that they didn't like service and duty and gave it all up to go earn money. And as for Charles, I'm sorry, Dan, I just do not believe that for 1 second, because of the continuous attacks that Harry has directed towards Queen Camilla at such a precarious time, with the king finally taking the throne after many years and a long life by his mother, and then Harry decides to basically attack everything from the Queen's legacy to the Prince William to Catherine, and of course the evil stepmother as he portrayed Queen Camilla. So I do not believe that Charles would be that forgiving. I'm not sure I believe this article at all.
But Tash, I just wonder if maybe we are slightly out of step with where King Charles is on Harry. Because, look, I know the Daily Mail in recent months has certainly been playing a game when it comes to Meghan and Harry. They want them on side. They want the legal action dropped. And on lots of occasions, they've been doing lots of shilling on behalf of Harry and Meghan. As someone who used to be a columnist for the Daily Mail, I find it repulsive. I can't believe that they have turned in that way. But Richard Eden is not going to quote a courtier if a courtier hadn't told him this. Now, let's use a process of elimination. This is certainly not a courtier that is working for William and Catherine, which means the only household this will have come from is Buckingham Palace.
obvious, as you said, with Richard Eden, who's a respected royal reporter, and I don't think that he's made this up. I didn't mean to come
No.
across like I
No,
was
because
implying
also,
that.
even though the Mail has turned, sorry to interrupt, Tesh, but I think it's really
Mm.
important I point out, even though the Mail has turned, Eden himself is no fan of Harry and Meghan whatsoever. He doesn't like those two. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to point that out.
No, that's fine, Dan. I do obviously think that Charles would like to repair the relationship as father and son, but I cannot see that Charles would risk his reign and the public backlash by expecting the public to accept Harry and Meghan back in any sort of working role, that they should be welcomed back with open arms. That's the bit that I struggle with. I mean, I do believe that Charles would obviously like to have his son back in his life, but that should be more on a personal level. To bring him back as in a job and as part of the working members of the royal family, that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Do you think Tash Charles is potentially preparing for a post-divorce plan? Because in reality, I mean, you might have a different feeling, but I see, and from my reporting, I hear absolutely no desire for Meghan to give up her commercial work, which would make this a non-starter.
Yes, it does seem to be more centered around Harry. There could be, I don't know, there seems to be a lot of speculation going around about their marriage at the moment. I think those two are adding fuel to the fire by doing so many separate engagements. I mean, obviously, they are a family at the end of the day. If you take away the fact that they are a royal family, I'm sure that if Harry really came back with the tail between his legs and said, Dad, I need help, obviously as a family, you do tend to put things aside and you look out for each other. But I still, again, I do struggle with this story, Dan, just because there have been so many bridges burnt. Harry has been so toxic towards his family. And again, with Queen Camilla, I'm sure she wouldn't want that stress around the king, especially with his ongoing cancer treatment. So this article had blindsided me a bit, in all honesty. So I'm not quite sure what to make of it.
I'm so shocked as well. I mean, I really am.
Mm.
But I do worry that there is a softening. But the key critical point, it's very difficult to talk about because everyone wants to hold out lots of hope for King Charles. But Lady Colin Campbell on this show 2 weeks ago described his cancer as incurable. I do think, Tash, when you go through something like that, of course you're probably thinking, is there a way? Is there a way that all of this negativity can be put to one side? But I think the person we really have to think about this most is Prince William. And Prince William is loving life at the moment. Catherine's doing better. You've seen him this week out in the army uniform, and he's a heartthrob again. And I can't see how Charles would square this with William.
No, I mean, there's there's so much that's happened. There's so many different attacks that Harry's done to his father, to Queen Camilla, to Prince William, and then of course to the Princess of Wales. So I can't see, if Charles does want to make amends with his youngest son, that he can force William to accept that. I mean, I don't like to think of it, and I hope the speculation is wrong, to do with the king. I hope he's around for many, many more years. But obviously, if he is concerned about how long he's going to be king and how long that he is going to remain healthy enough to want to repair your relationship with your children, I think is quite natural. But that's got to be between him and Harry, and I don't think that he can force anything on William. William and Catherine are the future heirs to the throne. Well, Prince William is, obviously. Catherine will be queen consort, the same as Queen Camilla, and I just cannot see that William is going to be forgiven regardless.
No, and honestly, I have huge sympathy and empathy for what Charles is going through. I should clarify too, by the way, incurable cancer does not mean that you cannot live potentially for decades. We
Mm.
see that now. I know people personally who have had incurable cancer, and through the incredible medical interventions now available, are able to live a pretty long life. And we know Charles is intending to return to full-time duties next year as well. So we should clarify that.
Yeah.
But I would be so angry if William and Catherine were put in this position. They are
Mm.
planning a reign that does not feature Harry and Meghan at all. William doesn't even want Harry at his coronation. And Tash, I completely understand why, and I completely approve of that decision. And if Charles puts him in a situation where Harry and Meghan, or let's be more realistic about this, Harry on his own attempts to set up some sort of rival royal court, I
Mm.
just think it would be so bad for the royal family. Some people might disagree with me on this. I don't want Harry back. Even if Harry and Meghan divorce, I don't want Harry back. He's tried to bring down his own family. The royal family doesn't need him. Also, he's just a cringeworthy embarrassment these days. Look at the video with Jelly Roll, for example.
Yeah. That wasn't one of his finest moments, really, was it?
No, it was awful. But am I being unfair, Tash? Is there any world where you would welcome Harry back?
I think on a personal level, if he wants to make up with his family, then that is down to his family. That's where it ends between being the public's business. But to bring Harry back as a working royal, well, that is, as I said, it's a different kettle of fish completely. Harry is someone that, how could they trust him ever again? I mean, he's still leveling snide little attacks. There's still digs coming out. I mean, even recently, with more information coming out about one of his many, many court cases, he has again asked for emails to be provided from the royal household to back up his claims that there's a secret deal between the palace and the media again. So he is still making attacks on
He's
his family.
engaging in lawfare and
Mm.
warfare, PR
Yeah.
warfare against
Yeah.
the family. So yeah, I mean,
All
look,
the
whoever
time.
this courtier is needs their head read, but all I'm saying, Tash, is there is a lot of this coming out. Tina Brown the other week wrote about the fact that once a new regime is in place and there are the new private secretaries in place, that might open the door. So look, there's certainly some sort of PR move at the moment to try and make it palatable, the idea of Prince Harry returning. It's not palatable to me, but I'm just
Nor me.
saying something is going on.
No, I think you're right. We are seeing quite a lot of stories dropping here and there. Maybe they are testing the waters, as they
Yeah.
say. Maybe they're trying to see public reaction to work out, is it going to be viable? Is there any way that we can do this? And I think, as I said, I think the majority of the public will respect that as a family. If he chooses to see his son, that's on him. But don't try and force him on the public as a working member of the royal family. I mean, how could they even put him back into positions becoming patrons of charities? What charity would really want him now? Because he's so toxic. His wife is so toxic. You can see everything they put their name to in America. It always backfires. Those two have the reverse Midas touch.
I know. I mean, look, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But all I'm saying is something is going on. Now, Tash, I want to ask you about this revelation, and I didn't mention her in my video the other day, so my apologies, but this revelation from Paula M on YouTube, who has reported that at this event where Meghan was with the Afghan women, that they were the same women as 2023. It was stage managed, so no one else was allowed near Meghan Markle, and that she was only there for 10 minutes. What do you make of it?
I honestly believe this to probably be true, in all honesty. I've looked at a lot of the photographs that came out, the ones that weren't necessarily brought up by the mainstream media that did publish its story. And Meghan is only interacting with the main women that were in the previous ones, where Meghan was wearing her Archwell apron as they taught her how to make some traditional food. This is the Welcome Project that Archwell has partnered up with. Now, I say partnered up with, that is the key words to this. Those women belong to an organisation called Mina's List, which has been around since 2014. Archwell has recently partnered up with them, and now Meghan calls it, or rather Archwell does, Archwell's Welcome Project. So this organisation and these women have existed together doing exactly what they're doing for a number of years, but now she's teamed up with them. Meghan is very much like she does with everything. It's now being pushed as her initiative, and that's just an excuse to go there and to use other people's initiative to take credit and to have a glossy photo shoot. It's rinse and repeat, the exact same as her wearing those beige bland outfits that she does. It's the exact same thing. The expression's the same. The word salad speeches are the same. She takes a photographer. There's a little bit of promotion for the organisation, but mostly it's about self-promotion. So do I think that Meghan just went there, turned up for a photo shoot and left not long after? Yes, I do, because we've heard of Harry and Meghan doing that at various other events over the course of the last few years when they've moved to California. So yes, I think there is truth to that.
Tash, stand by. Back with you in just 1 minute. But first, we've partnered with Gundry MD to share this information with you. Would you believe if I told you inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet? Yes, it's true. Not some weird trendy superfood either. It's olive oil. You're probably used to cooking with it, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. For example, olive oil is a natural way to help you achieve more youthful appearances. Besides helping you look younger on the outside, though, it's a fantastic tool for your insides as well. According to Dr. Stephen Gundry, a famous cardiothoracic surgeon, nutrition expert, and health advocate, you should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible, whether it's taking a shot of it daily or keeping a bottle of it in your bathroom medicine cupboard. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health? Well, any olive oil can give you some benefits. But if you're looking to get the best results, it matters a lot which one you pick. The olive oil industry is huge. You can tell by the number of olive oil brands you see at the grocery store. And you can bet they're not all made with the consumer in mind. And many brands may even cut corners one way or another to increase profits. When Dr. Gundry came to this realization, he was appalled. But some olive oils are so powerful that it may only take a few tablespoons a week, just a few tablespoons a week, to see these incredible health benefits. So how can you tell between an olive oil that can be a health booster and one which isn't up to par? In an effort to answer that question, Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal findings and research. The video has gone viral since its release, and it's important you see it so you can start benefiting immediately. So you can watch the video right now by going to getolive1.com/outspoken or by clicking the link in the description box below. So that's getolive1.com/outspoken, or just click on the link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules have helped change their lives. So make sure you go to getolive1.com/outspoken or click in the description box, which is click on the link. I'll get this one right. I'll be very clear. Click on the link which is in the description box right below this video. But Tash, she claimed that she hated wearing neutrals, which are now her signature. When she was in the royal family, apparently she was banned. They banned her, Tash, from wearing bright colours. Yet now she's in California. All she ever wants to wear are neutrals, which is her signature clothes, according to Marie Claire.
I know, her signature style, and I read that and I chuckled at that line myself. But yes, it is. I've never seen anyone wear so much beige, light brown and porridge coloured clothes. It is obviously her uniform. You know, that's up to her. But like you said, it's just the utter, I don't really, It's unbelievable, isn't it, that she put in so many complaints about the evil royal family, and one of the ones was the fact that she was forced to wear these bland colours so she didn't stand out. And it's the colours that she's worn continuously at pretty much most events that she's been to, especially this year.
Indeed. And I mean, honestly, Tash, the article, the
Oh, don't.
article by Kristen Contino, who is the royal editor for Marie Claire, but actually, let's be honest, a PR operative for Harry and Meghan. She was the only journalist there, so we're meant to believe her version of events. But clearly, it's poppycock. It is complete bull. Because in this article, she writes something so unbelievable. She says, like her husband, Prince Harry, Meghan possesses the gift of not only making everyone in the room feel instantly comfortable, but also valued. And working in this business, I can assure you that's no mean feat. And Tash, we just know from all of the reports that is the opposite of how Meghan makes people feel. Meghan makes people feel like a piece of dirt on her very expensive high heel shoe. Meghan makes people feel like they're a prop in a photo shoot. So the fact that that line was in the article told me that this was all just PR spin.
Of course, the fact that you've got an event, they cherry pick who they want to go. It's the same as Columbia. They had one woman from Harper's Bazaar that filtered through everything to the rest of the newspapers and the media outlets. Any video footage was muted, so nobody could catch wind of what was actually going on in the background if anyone was calling her repugnant. And this is exactly the same. They've picked someone that is going to write glorious, sugary, sweet things about Meghan, and they always over egg the pudding. No one else gets these sort of really sugary stories spoken about them. Not politicians, not singers, not actresses. You know, whenever you hear about them going to charity events, it seems to be only Meghan that has these really fluffy articles talking about her like she walks on water. Meghan walks into the room and everybody realizes what joy and true happiness is just by looking at her. It's honestly laughable. As I said, it's really over egging the pudding. It's cringeworthy at its finest, really.
Oh, it's totally cringe. But all of the spin at the moment, Tash, is completely cringe because People magazine is trying to make us believe the fact that they have chosen to appear at separate events on the opposite coast next week is part of the plan. This is totally bizarre because Harry has decided to go to this New York Deal Book conference on the day that he should be at the Paley Honours, where Meghan is awarding Tyler Perry, because Harry is on this committee. And it really feels to me like Harry is doing everything possible to avoid being photographed with Meghan, because they say in this article, and this is them, because we know Harry directly emails them, so we know whether this has come from his mouth or come from his PR operation. It is spin. But the article says the shift also reflects their commitment that one of them always stays behind in California with the kids. And a source said, what we are seeing is a functional and healthy relationship with two working partners, not the contrary. But none of that makes sense, Tash, because Meghan is at the event in Los Angeles, Harry is in New York, so no one is with the kids in Montecito. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, I do, Dan. I mean, that's laughable again in itself. We've seen them go to lots of events together when it was happier times. They had no problem with leaving the children behind. I mean, they used to say that Doria was the one looking after them, but I think when they went to New York before the terrifying car chase, the near catastrophic car chase, Doria was photographed being with them. So it's like, well, who were the children with then? Certainly not their grandfathers. And yes, it's this way that they're obviously, I would say, gaslighting at this point, to say, oh, this is all part of the plan. They're just separating professionally so one can always stay behind with the child. But like you said, it doesn't make sense because they're both at completely different events again.
Yeah, and
like
Los Angeles isn't close to Montecito, so yeah. Meghan is not going to be with the kids that night.
even the Welcome Project, that was actually on the 26th of October. And they said the reason why Harry wasn't there was because he was off doing Invictus stuff, because he was in Canada, wasn't he, in Vancouver, promoting the Invictus for schools. And it's like, okay, so you were there and he was there. And again, where were the children? And obviously with nannies, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, lots of people leave their children with nannies. But to make it a thing to say, oh, no, they're doing this because they're now making sure that they're co-parenting properly. There's always one at home. It's just another line, isn't it?
It is. Just like Tash, Us Weekly's spin regarding the fact that Harry and Meghan have been banned from the royal Christmas, where they write, the Meghan Markle family is everything during the holiday season. I loved your response, Tash. I loved it. You replied, they are having a laugh with that headline. She's not only cut off her family, but Harry's family and all the relatives their children should have around them, including Harry's childhood friends and their families, the Markles, the Raglands, the Windsors, all the cousins, the grandfathers, the aunties and uncles, everyone apart from Doria. I find that desperately sad and selfish. Plus, who brags about their 5-year-old not believing in Father Christmas anymore? That's not exactly a flex. And it was just so hilarious, this interview where she talks about the importance of Thanksgiving, and obviously happy Thanksgiving to everyone watching in America today. I wish I was eating turkey with you. But she talks about make sure that you leave a spare chair at your table so that you can give a spot to someone who's lonely. Well, what about your father, Meghan, Thomas, who's 2 hours or 3 hours down the road and is probably spending Thanksgiving alone today, probably with a visit from Thomas Markle Jr. He would love to be at your table. She's utterly despicable.
She really is. I mean, it is always a reminder of Thomas Markle. I've always felt incredibly sorry for him because he really didn't do anything that Meghan herself hasn't done countless times over the years, and added stage, set up, paparazzi, photo shoots. She has done it before she met Harry. She did it while she was dating Harry. She did it in the run up to the wedding. They did it, when they moved to California. It's quite clearly obvious that Meghan loves to stage paparazzi, and I just cannot understand a woman that talks about the most important times of the year, Christmas and Thanksgiving, what it means for family. And she cannot find it in herself to forgive her father, who's done nothing but beg for years to just let her, to just talk to him, just let him see his grandchildren. And that is just cold as ice. It's one thing that I think has turned many people off of her, because a lot of people cannot understand how she can ice her father out like that. I mean, completely, like he was dead. I mean, I think Harry in an interview even spoke about Thomas Markle.
Yeah.
Like, yep. Meghan lost her father.
Yes. That she believes her dad is dead. In her head, that's what she's convinced. But it is disgusting. It is completely disgusting. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.